I'm giving you some tips for sewing with leather, and I'm starting right now. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from ElizabethMadeThis.com, helping you sew something creative. If that is up your alley, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. So I just finished this faux leather jacket that I'm wearing now. It is a remake of another jacket that I made a while back that was also faux leather, but I wanted to do it in a faux leather that was a little bit easier to work with. So this is just a really nice basic faux leather, and I just wrote an article on my blog about sewing with leather in general, because I did a lot of sewing with leather over my Halloween sewing. And I have thoughts about it. More so, I know I did a video a long time ago about sewing with faux leather, and I have better tips now for you. So I'm going to add on to some of those ideas from that older video, and hopefully you're going to walk away and feel a lot more confident about sewing with faux leather. So let me show you my number one kind of tips for working with this faux leather, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. So in front of me, I've got a piece of real leather. You can see it has this, you know, kind of suede side on the wrong side of the fabric, and it's much smoother on this side. And I don't remember what kind this is. I believe this is a lambskin leather, but there's all kinds of different leathers that you can use. You'll see that it's really oddly shaped, and that's just because that's, you know, it's what it's coming off of the animal. I got this at the FIDM scholarship store in Los Angeles. So so it came from a designer's workshop. It looks like they used you know, like a weird chunk out of it. So but I have several pieces of this, and it's eventually going to be a jacket. And I think after this faux leather jacket that I just made, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can handle this now. The biggest thing to know about faux leather, about real leather, is that that in these weird odd shapes, you're gonna get charged by the square footage, and that's because it's a weird shape. So that's how they calculate it. So real leather is going to be a lot more expensive than just yardage of faux leather. So this is the faux leather that I had from the jacket, and you can see that it's this kind of covering that is on a backing, and this part is actually it's pretty damaged, and this was just a scrap that I had. But it's actually good to see the damage in faux leather versus real leather. So this is a little flaw that it has in the real leather. And when I go to cut out of this, I'm just going to avoid that general area, and I would do that the same thing when I go to cut the faux leather as well. There is a way to fix the faux leather that I will show you in a little while. Well, actually, I'll show you now since I've got this piece that's there, and I've got it working on that. So one thing that you can do with faux leather is just kind of tug on it. And I'm going to try and separate the coating from the backing fabric. And let's see if it'll be nice to me. Sometimes it's not nice. I have to tug a little bit harder. So yes, I am damaging this, but we're pretending that we're using this, and it's a scrap anyway. So it's just going to come, right? All right. Come on, friend. Okay, so let's say that I just had this little tiny hole and I wanted to cover it up. So I have this little piece that I took off of my faux leather, and I am just going to grab some glue, and we'll just pretend I have the glue right now. So there's all kinds of leather glues that you could use. So I would just put a little dab of that glue right over that, and then just put that in place. And you can see, even though I haven't added any glue, it's not super easy to tell, especially once that glue is on there, that there was any damage there. And it's that's a nice, easy, quick way to fix faux leather, if in case you do have tiny damage spots. Now, I wouldn't use this particular bit because this is too much damage for me, but I just wanted to show that when you are working with faux leather or leather in general, go ahead and use some kind of clips, so either Wonder clips or binder clips like that, and that's just going to help it going through the machine, and you can just take them off at a time. You never ever want to use pins on leather or faux leather, because it's going to damage the fabric, and you can't take those holes out of the fabric. So go ahead and use binder clips. That is a good thing. The other thing that you want to think about is when you go to cut stuff, go ahead and use a rotary cutter. A rotary cutter is your best friend. It's going to get nice, sharp, even cuts that are going to get a nice, clean razor edge. It's going to help you get nice, accurate cuts. So yay, rotary cutter. The other thing that we have to consider is what kind of foot we use with our sewing machine. So this is a Teflon foot. It is just a piece of plastic, and it just sits right on the top of the fabric. I really love this foot for top stitching. There's another kind of foot that you can get, and I'm not finding it right this second. Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, so this is a roller foot, and you can see it's literally what it looks like, right? It has this little roller that it's going to roll across the surface of the fabric as it's going through the machine. What this does is that it kind of gives you an extra feed dog on the top side of your fabric, so that the layers are going to go through the machine much more evenly. And that's really nice because leather and faux leather both have a huge tendency to stick to the bed of your machine as they go through. So the roller really helps to do that. What I don't like the roller foot for is for top stitching. What I noticed when working with the faux leather especially, but also the real leather, is that as it's going across it's going across the surface of that fabric. So it can potentially kind of damage the nice side of your fabric if you're top stitching on it. So in that case, I would go for the Teflon foot, because the Teflon foot is literally just going to glide across the surface of that, and it's not going to damage anything at all. Okay, so we're going to have to go to the sewing machine so I can show you how you can really keep your leather from skipping stitches, which is a huge problem when you go to sew with leather. So let's head on down to the sewing room, and I will show you that. Okay, so I am going to fit out my machine with my roller foot, just so you can see that in action. I'm just going to snap that guy into place. Again, I like this for when the leather is right sides together, because I know that I'm not going to be damaging the good side of the fabric. And also, the other thing that I don't like about the roller foot when you're top stitching is that this roller it makes it really difficult to see exactly where you're top stitching. So that's why I would definitely go for the Ultra Glide or the Teflon foot when you go to top stitch, because it's a lot easier to see exactly what you're doing. So let me just sew this seam really quick. You want to lengthen your stitch to about 3 to 3.5, just on a straight stitch, or depending on if you've got a stretch leather, you might want to use a narrow zigzag. So you can see my fabric is not sticking at all to the surface of my machine. It's just going straight through. Super easy, nice and easy to use that for that. And it's got a nice straight seam. It's really nice from the right side as well. Okay, so that's the roller foot. Now I'm going to switch to the Teflon foot, so you can see the top stitching in action. Okay, so I just have this little sample that I just made from some scraps. I have one seam here, and then I have another seam on the other side. So I'm going to top stitch this seam. Now the problem that's going to happen is twofold. When I start this, it's not going to want to start, so I've got a trick for that. And also we're going to run into the same problem from a different side when I get to here. So right now I am just going to put my needle there. I'm not going to put my presser foot down yet. I'm just going to drop the needle inside of there, and I'm going to take a scrap of the fabric, and I am going to fold it so that it's the same thickness as what I have underneath the needle there. So that is 3 layers of fabric. So I am just going to fold that. So that's what I've got there. And I am going to put this underneath the back side of my presser foot, because right now the back side is just hanging out in space. It doesn't have anything to help it along. So now I put my presser foot down, and I am just going to start stitching. You can see it just started, no problem. The problem with these feet when you get to working on them is they don't like to be uneven. So whatever you have to do to get them on even footing is a good thing. And I found that the simplest way to do that is a scrap of your fabric, because you know that you can fold it as many times as you need to get it to the same thickness as whatever it is that you're working on. Okay, so let's say that we're right here. Okay, you can see that the pitch of my foot is going to go up when I hit this seam, and it's gonna want to skip. So again, I'm just going to take that same scrap of fabric as I'm getting to that, and I'm going to put it underneath the back side of my presser foot, and it's just going to help it along without skipping the stitches at all. So see, nice and easy, no skip stitches. No skip stitches, it's just nice and lovely, nice and lovely. Okay, so let's say I've got the same problem, but I'm top stitching like a pocket. Let's pretend that this little weird eye-shaped pocket, it really does look like an eye. Let's pretend that it is like a pocket. Okay, so now you can see definitely that I've got way uneven footing. So this right side of the presser foot is just hanging off in space right there. That's really terrible. So I'm going to take my scrap of fabric again, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to put it on the right side of the presser foot, and that is just going to make sure that it's going to go right on the same level, both sides of that, so it's going to prevent that skip stitching. Okay, so I'm going to hit a corner right now, right? So I'm going to drop my needle in that corner, I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to keep that fabric right along the edge there. And then you can see just no problem turning that corner, no problem on that curve. I've got nice even stitches, nobody's skipping anywhere. I tell you what, skipped stitches on leather is one of the most frustrating things you will ever have to deal with in your sewing, because you really can't fix it. Those holes are kind of there permanently. So that's super stinky. Okay, but this little, and granted, this is not my best top stitching job. I just want you to see the difference that it makes of just keeping the side of the foot nice and even. And this is just one of those quick and easy things that you can do to make your leather sewing so much nicer. So that's how you top stitch. So those are some of my thoughts for sewing with faux leather. Hopefully that was a helpful kind of thing, and I hope that you will pick up some leather or some faux leather and go ahead and just experiment. And I hope, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Hey guys, I hope those leather sewing tips were really helpful for you. There's other stuff going on here at Elizabeth Made This, so go ahead and check out other videos that are playing somewhere around my head here, and I will see you in the next video. Later!